Hello and welcome, everyone. We're going to get started with another one of our awesome webinars led by Andy Starnes of Insight Training. My name is Scott Epstein. I'm one of the regional sales managers here at Seek Thermal. For those of you that don't know who Andy is, he was a 30-year career firefighter at Charlotte Fire Department in North Carolina. He just retired in October as a battalion chief. And of course, he's busier now than he was while he was with the department. So we're very lucky to have him speak to us today. A couple quick housekeeping notes. Seek Thermal just announced a new decision-making camera, the Attack Pro with video recording in survey mode 2 weeks ago. And we thought this would be a great topic for Andy to focus on today. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat. We'll try to answer them as many as we can throughout the next hour during the presentation. And if you're looking to speak to someone with, speak with a sales rep, let us know in the chat and we'll work on connecting you to a distributor in your territory and following up to make sure you get all the support that you need. Of course, you can register on our site to demo the Attack Pro VRS. We always say these cameras need to be burned with, and we're very confident that when you burn with them, you'll be thoroughly impressed. Lastly, be on the lookout for a webinar next week focused solely on survey mode for all of our cameras that we have in the market. I've already talked way too much, so with that, I'll pass it over to Andy. Andy, take it away.
Thank you, Scott. I appreciate it, sir. We're going to talk about the new Attack Pro VRS model. Those of you who have heard us talk about this model before, as far as the Attack Pro and Attack Pro Plus, you'll learn the differentiating features and factors and things about this camera that are new to the market and why they may benefit you. We have had a prototype out for some time now that we've been testing, so you'll have some photos and videos of that. Keep in mind that our prototype had a little bit of differentiation from the ones you'll actually see on the market. And actually, you will really enjoy some of the features, videos, and things we'll share with you today. And with that, let's get started. As Scott said, I recently retired, and I am blessed to be able to do this with lots of friends and family. I have an amazing cadre, and I have amazing support of my family. We just got back from Florida, training with from the Stone Brothers departments in South Walton and Midway Fire District. They treated us just amazingly well, like family. Got to see Chief Dennis Riley and a lot of other great people. If you're interested in the work we do and you want to take your training to the next level, I highly encourage you to check out our collegiate curriculum. It's all online. We developed with WKU and Kentucky Thermal Institute, and Seek Thermal is a sponsor, and that program is online. You get a certificate. It is the only peer-reviewed thermology-based firefighting certification in existence today. That QR code right there in the bottom left corner will take you there. This presentation is loaded with QR codes for a reason. This presentation will also be available to you at the end of this presentation, so you can have it and many other presentations. If you're familiar with Seek Thermal's products, you were familiar with the Fire Pro X, was one of their first products. That product is no longer available. This is their current family, along with the new Attack Pro VRS model. So we have Fire Pro 200, 300, Attack Pro Plus, and the VRS model, which is not pictured here, which is on the new lineup. So you have a lot of choices you can choose from, but in my opinion, this is the smoothbore nozzles of thermal imaging cameras, to quote a friend of mine. They are difficult to mess up, they're easy to teach, and they're easy to use, and they make a firefighter's job simpler, smarter, safer, and faster. The current models that are out there are between two types: situational awareness and decision-making. The VRS model we're going to be talking about today is a decision-making camera that gives you a little bit more abilities and capabilities than a standard base model. And for those of you who are really into training and teaching, and some of you wanting to go next level with your decision making and enhancing decision making, the VRS model is the right choice for you. We currently have 2 free webinars available that you can learn about the Attack Pro and Attack Pro Plus. Once this webinar is published, you will have 3 webinars for each camera. One on the Attack Pro, which is their base model, which is on, off, flashlight, and TI Basic Plus, which is spot temperature. Attack Pro Plus is the NFPA certified model. If you scan that QR code in the bottom left-hand corner, many of you right now are going through the AFG grant process. I highly encourage you to watch that webinar on what is NFPA 1801, because you need to understand the difference between regular cameras and NFPA certified cameras if you're applying for AFG funds. Current model we're discussing today is the Attack Pro VRS, which is video record in survey mode. It also has a higher dynamic range than the current models, going up to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit or 650 C. This is your entire instruction manual in one slide. Those of you familiar with the work we've shared before, we won't reiterate that in depth, but we will share bits and pieces so you can go back and refresh your memory and help you look over things. And there's been numerous people that reach out to us every week through our website saying we bought the Attack Pros, looking for in-service training on them. Our website has a button. If you hit the Seek Thermal button, it takes you, click the button at the bottom where it says Seek Thermal Videos, not the Contact Me one, and you will go straight to the videos along with a resource link on our blog for you to use. And these cameras, whether you're using a FirePro 200 to all the way up to the VRS model, all operate under mixed gain mode. If you want to learn more about mixed gain mode, check out the QR code we have in the upper right hand corner here for you to check out. I'd encourage you to watch that webinar and understand why Seek Thermal camera works differently than a standard fire service thermal imaging camera. Every other camera on the market currently is like a manual transmission. These cameras are automatic. As my friend taught me just recently, he said, "You're saying that's the smoothbore nozzle, it ticks. It's on, off, it works. You don't have to worry about it." I couldn't agree with him more, because each pixel switches independently, individually, and doesn't require a certain percentage or amount of heat to do so. So these cameras are doing this faster, smoother than other cameras on the market, and gives you earlier colorization than any other camera on the market. Even though many cameras colorize at 302 degrees Fahrenheit or 150 degrees C, none of them colorize pixel by pixel. And that goes for survey mode, which you will learn about today as well. These are the 3 bonus features that are now available through the Attack Pro VRS, which is survey mode, which is a game changer. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about that next week and how that can help you in your job, not just on the fire ground, but in your daily calls for service. You're going to really enjoy that. Video recording, a lot of people have asked for that. It is now available, and you got up to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit of dynamic range. So it gives you a little bit more ability to see a little bit more heat. So let's talk about that wonderful feature, survey mode. We have included a QR code and created a special playlist on our YouTube channel that we just created today called the Investigative Mode or Specialty Application Mode playlist. And in that playlist, you will see things like survey mode, search and rescue mode from FLIR, size up mode from Argus, and all other features that are available, like Bullard has one called electronic thermal throttle. These are many features that have been around for a long time that firefighters have failed to use or understand properly due to a lack of training. It's not so much the firefighters' fault as fire departments haven't invested in training. This great photo from my fellow instructor, Joey Baxa, JB photo there, shows us using the survey mode at Firehouse Expo. Survey mode is a great tool for low temperature environments. It's recommended for early or late in the incident, as a good friend of mine taught me. However, it's not recommended for extreme high heat environments where the majority of the field of view is greater than 300 degrees Fahrenheit, because you will get what's known as saturation. Those of you who've been around the fire service a long time are familiar with the term whiteout. New cameras don't white out, they saturate. So they may go all red, which means that's a lot of heat in front of you, and you should pay attention to that. If your camera ever whites out, go back and watch our webinar called Thermal Imaging Tips for Success and find the 3 reasons your camera produces a white screen. Not wiping the lens, radio frequency interference, or a certain brand that actually has an awkward phase between high and low gain that produces a white screen. Make sure you understand that, because a lot of firefighters fail because they don't understand how their camera works and they don't use the proper behaviors when they're using the TIC. The survey mode explanation, I went through some great videos recently and pulled these so you could see the differences here. The bottom picture is TI basic. So you see the fire room, the door frame in Germany, where I was working with my friend Stefan Feix and the wonderful people from International Fire Rescue Training. Seek Thermal actually came over and was one of the sponsors to help us in our International TIC Academy. And you can see the difference when I put it in survey mode up high. Many manufacturers will tell you not to use these investigative modes in a high heat environment, which I would agree with for the most part. If the majority of the environment is 300 plus, you're going to get a lot of red and not a lot of detail. However, majority of firefighters enter remote from the fire. They work their way towards the fire. And in many cases, you hear on the radio, we're having trouble locating the fire. In many cases, firefighters are overwhelmed by rapid fire changing conditions because they did not recognize what the grayscale meant in their fire service camera. You would not believe how many thermographers and fire service TIC instructors do not like color. I'm telling you now, there are more than 50 shades of gray. The movies have lied to you. The camera uses 256 shades of grayscale, and you can only differentiate around 10 shades of gray as a male and 30 shades of gray as a female and 4 shades of gray under stress. So early colorization in a fast-moving IDLH environment is a game changer and helps you find problems. It's also useful size up, locating hidden fire, overhaul applications, which is probably the most misused application of a fire service camera today. I cannot tell you how many times I heard a firefighter come out from a fire and say, hey, we're good, the fire room's 74 degrees. If anyone ever gives you an exact temperature reading with a thermal imaging camera, you should be very concerned. That is why NFPA removed the spot temperature, because it caused so many issues and it was listed as a contributing factor in 3 line of duty deaths. So if I have a camera that colorizes heat early to help me find out where I need to work or where I need to investigate, that helps me with my job, my task, and mitigating that environment. So, however, if it is very high heat, like you're in a flashover container or you're in the fire room, you will find that that will overwhelm it and it will just say greater than 300 and everything will be red. So I recommend you use it early in size up, early in entry, and late in the incident overhaul, or low heat environments where you have light smoke and you're unable to find the fire, because you will find it will help you immensely in locating the problem. This is a video to show you the difference in the two. So we're going to start with survey mode. I'm flowing a little water with my friends overseas, and they watch it quickly return, which is known as thermal rebound, and then watch when we switch from survey mode to TI basic. Now, to notice how you're in one of the two, Seek did something pretty smart. If we look at the beginning, you notice the background is not gray, it's a blue or monochromatic blue, and there's a blue S in the lower left-hand corner. Colorization begins at 150 degrees Fahrenheit, maxes out at 300. Whereas when we switch to TI basic, your default color palette that all cameras should start off in, you'll notice that when it does this, it starts colorization at 300 degrees. Notice the difference in the color patterns you see. The color patterns in grayscale are almost identical. The color patterns in color are quite different. Look, gray and then more color, or as we like to say, this is better, worse, better, worse, because you may not see the fact that all these other areas are overheated and may need your attention, whether it's overhaul or flowing water or opening up. Make sure you use this application mode to your benefit. Many cameras offer these features, but many firefighters fail to use them. So we're going to help you do your job more efficiently. No matter what camera you use, we're just thankful that Seek Thermal has made a product that's easy to use and helps firefighters do this job faster, smarter, and safer without having to press a whole lot of buttons and just go to work. So let me ask you a question. Which one of these grabs your attention? You had an untrained firefighter in thermal imaging and the crew leader was behind them and he or she had the camera. Which one of these do you think is going to make them open the nozzle? Granted, that hallway is not super duper hot in comparison to what firefighters are used to. However, that is hot to an unprotected civilian. That is hot to high heat release rate fuels that are made of solidified petroleum products that radiates energy down to the fourth power on those products, which now pyrolyzes that fuel and produces flammable vapors. And more importantly, if you look in the upper left-hand corner of that right picture, you can see the heat moving up the stairs. In today's 2-story big box homes, if mom and dad sleeps downstairs, who sleeps upstairs? Kids. Where's the heat and gases going? To them. Be honest, does that picture on the left really grab your attention? It's a nice picture. But the one on the right, does that make you say, I need to do something about it? There's a reason the stoplights are red, yellow, green, not 3 shades of red. They're designed to be contrasting colors to capture our attention, excuse me. So if we want to turn survey mode on, it's a pretty simple process. We press the flashlight button and hold it for 3 seconds, and then we get that dreaded spot temperature button that comes on, which I'm not a big fan of if you hadn't picked that up. Then we push it again for 3 seconds, and then survey mode engages. Why 3 seconds? So you don't accidentally do that and end up somewhere you shouldn't be. If you set that way and turn the camera off, when you turn it on, it will automatically be in survey mode. That is the current programming of that camera. Most cameras default to TI Basic. This makes it a little easier for you when you come off the truck that it's ready to go, and then you can just press the button and hold and you go back to TI Basic. Whenever that mode is powered down in that mode, that'll be the default mode. So if it's survey mode, it'll come back on survey mode. If it's TI Basic, it'll come back on in survey mode. So this camera follows Michael Whitty's research paper where he states that fire service cameras should have 2 application modes, fire and investigation. You got one for high heat where you don't have time to press buttons, and you got one for low heat where you might be a little bit more manageable and you might have time to investigate and look for things. Keep in mind how these features work and how you can use them. Let's talk about the higher dynamic range of this camera. It goes up to 1200 degrees where the previous model went up to 1022. That gives it a little bit more ability to allow those pixels to pick up different temperatures. It gets less saturation. However, the color palette remains the same. Color engages at 300 at yellow, at approximately 576 in orange, and 850 at red. The only difference now, instead of 850 to 1022, you're going 850 to 1200. Keep that in mind as we discuss why people ask for this. As in my mind, I understand the detectors need to have a higher dynamic range so it doesn't saturate. However, there are people that want cameras that go up to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, let me ask you, those of you who've been on a while, do you really need a camera that goes up to 2000 degrees Fahrenheit? Because the dynamic range definition is the tonal difference between the lightest light and the darkest dark of the image, whether it's grayscale or an isotherm colorization. The higher the dynamic range, the more the potential shades can be represented, although this does not automatically correlate to the number of tones reproduced. Why is that important? Because certain devices claim 1000 degrees Celsius or 2000 degrees Fahrenheit temperature range or dynamic range, but if you look at those cameras, they start showing red at around 1000 to 1200 degrees Fahrenheit, and they have an 800 degree span or 1000 degree span from 1000 to 2000 that's all red. Not red, dark red, purple, just all red. Can you tell me which shade of red is 1200 degrees, 1400 degrees, 1600 degrees? Because flashover temperatures can go as high as 1900 degrees. We can melt my daughter's Walmart bicycle at around 1100 degrees. Your face piece melts off somewhere between 350 and 600, depending on which study you read and the conditions you're in. Do I need to go up to 2000? Are you really an industrial camera user that's inspecting furnaces? No. We need something that works in the environment we are in and gives us early recognition so we don't get up to 2000 degrees. This is a good example of why a higher dynamic range would help you, is because when you get more heat and the mixed gain mode balances out this picture really well, these firefighters fighting an attic fire, you can see a lot of things really well. You can see the heat moving across from the attic, moving from far right to the left. You can also see how mixed gain mode gives them balanced grayscale imagery. You can also see all that dreaded duct cord wiring hanging from that flex duct that's actually wrapped around one of the firefighters' SCBA bottle. And they're using the camera to see if their stream progress is being successful or not. They'll actually get up on the attic ladder and get in line with the target and start knocking it down later in the video. This is an example of why their mixed gain mode software makes your life easier, because there's no switching between high and low gain. And with the extended dynamic range, it'll balance this picture out better. And you'll also be able to do things like record or use survey mode later in the incident for overhaul when you've knocked down the majority of this fire, which is very beneficial for those of us who've experienced the dreaded word rekindle. That's not a fun word, okay? But it's a great video from my friends who shared it with me. They know who they are. I won't get them in trouble by sharing who they are because they're very kind to share it with us. But notice all those wires and notice the massive amount of heat moving through that attic space. Great video, great example of them knocking back the fire, and then they get up there and take care of business. Now, let's talk about the dreaded word video recording. A lot of people want video recording and some don't. We're going to talk about both sides of the coin and how video recording can be an asset or a detriment, depending on your organization and how you use it. For me, as an instructor, training, education, and helping firefighters understand what we're doing, I would not be where I'm at without the grace of God, good friends, and the ability to record. So we've been recording since 2010. What would I show people without video recording? How will I teach recruits? How will I show company officers, operations personnel? How will I show anyone what we did that wasn't there if I'm not able to record? It's a simple process with this device without having to mess up and add extra buttons. You simply tap the power button twice to start. Red dot in the lower left-hand corner with a green outline will show up. When that shows up, you are recording. If you want to stop recording, you want to tap it one time. Please make sure if you want to keep those videos that you turn the recording off before you turn the camera off. I have found that in the majority of the cameras out there, including Seek, if you turn it off while it's recording, the last 5 minutes or so of video will be corrupted and you will not be able to watch that video. It'll show the file, but you won't be able to do anything with it. This is a great picture from one of Seek Thermal's photographers when we were in Germany using the German gangster grip here, filming the outside of the container at IFRT. I love that photo. He did a great job. So let's talk about how, once you recorded video, how do you get those videos out of there? How does this work? Every other camera on the market has a USB port that is visible on the exterior of the camera. Seek Thermal was very wise to hide theirs internally for a reason. The two weakest links on any camera are the germanium window and that port that's covered up with a rubber boot, because those are areas that, one, the germanium window gets broken, and that little port is where moisture can get in. In this case, you have to take the battery out, and you have this long tool here that slides in and connects to a USB port internally inside the camera. And then you just connect the USB port to your PC, laptop, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter if it's MacBook or HP, whatever it is. And once you do that, you'll see a file show up recognizing the camera. You'll double click on it, you'll open up another file, and then you can simply drag and drop those files onto your desktop or desired location. They're MP4 files. They don't require special software. You don't have to download something from somewhere or any of that. It is very easy, very clean, and you can watch it right then and there. However, I will tell you, if you are sharing them via cell phone, depending on the type of phone, some types of TIC videos do not translate well. I edit those videos and share them after the fact for my friends who want to watch them on their phone, because 94% of all internet browsing and viewing of videos is done on what? A mobile device. So make it mobile friendly if you're going to share them. Now, let's talk about the interesting question. To record or not record? This is a very in-depth subject. I want to spend some time on this for a very good reason. It's an asset for training purposes and analysis. It's very useful for after action reviews. You're training, you're figuring out what happened. Maybe they're looking at certain parts of the incident where certain things were stated they did or didn't do. But you also have to decide as a department, are we going to record? And if we are, who is going to record? Everyone? Or like my previous department, only training, ARF, rescue, and hazmat personnel were allowed to record. Operations were allowed to take photos in the camera we had, because the majority of those companies, such as training, ARF, or hazmat, they were involved in larger incidents, or they had new people and they possibly could end up in court. So they needed documentation. The other question you should ask yourself, if you're going to allow your department to record, who oversees that video? It'd be a good idea to assign someone like a safety officer who responds to every fire to download the videos. Maybe you have arson investigators that respond to those incidents, to every fire. Whoever responds to every fire, one of those individuals needs to follow up with companies to download cameras on a regular basis. Because once the camera is full, it will overwrite the oldest video, number one. And number two, you might need them for legal reasons if there is an incident involving a fatality or other things. Now, those of you who have been on the fire department or police department or EMS or have a background in all three are familiar with the Freedom of Information Act. All recordings by civil servants are public record. Remember that, whether it's body cam, whether it's thermal imaging, whether it's your cell phone, if you recorded it while you were working, it's public record. Doesn't matter if you used your own device, you were doing it while you were on the job. So your department should establish policies and procedures on managing those videos, who can and can't record, and when, what is done with those videos like we talked about. And certain organizations are not allowed to record. We'll discuss that as well. You need to know this up front, because just because you buy a camera that can record doesn't mean you should. And I enjoy using mine because I'm able to teach people with it, and it helps people out with a lot of things. We're going to show you some examples of why it's beneficial. So let's look at one example of several highlight videos of the Seek Attack Pro in action. We had the first prototype that wasn't the VRS because it still has up to 1025 temperature range, but it was able to record, and you can see how well it works. It's seamless. We don't have any lag. We're able to see the colder areas, the hotter areas, all in one image. You can see this size up video of an actual house fire of how well this works, and it balances out the image in grayscale and colorization, and there's not a lot of lag or delay as the firefighter's moving and recording. One of the favorite parts of this video is right here. I'll back it up just a minute. I want you to see that. Single pane glass in a basement window well. I was taught ticks can't see through glass. Well, thermal imaging cameras can't see through anything. God forbid if somebody fell through a basement or fell into a basement, fell through the floor, this video shows there's signs of heat in that basement, that it's either broke through or it started there. We don't know in this particular incident, but that's a great recording to help them out in the after action or investigative purposes if somebody was injured or killed. Now, if you're recording, here's where it helps you. The extent of damage can be verified by insurance companies. A lot of times there's some argument about who did what. Was it the fire? Was it firefighters? What actually occurred? We can go back and watch the video and see what happened. Was there a lot of damage just from the fire itself, or was there more damage occurred later during overhaul? Was there a rekindle? Did the fire start back in a completely different place? What if you video recorded and you knock down the fire in the Alpha Bravo corner and you come back later and the fire is in the Charlie Delta corner and there was no fire back there? I might want to have the arson investigator look at that. You know what else it can do? It can identify training issues or concerns. You as a battalion chief can watch the video and go, you know, engine company X needs to work on managing hose lines, or truck company 2 needs to really work on, you know, their saw skills or ladders. You know, arson investigators love these videos, find them extremely useful. They've been used in court. I'll show you an example of that. And unfortunately, they have also been used in rescues and body identification, because some people have sued saying the fire department should have rescued my loved one, when in many cases the video shows that the person was obviously deceased and there was nothing that medical help could have done for that person. As a trained professional in thermography who sees 500 to 700 degree signatures on the face of a human victim knows there's no chance that person could have survived respiratory burns such as that. However, there are good and bad of recording. This is a positive side of it to help you out. And if you are going to record, your fire department can also use this to show how long it takes them to knock down fire, how well they're doing with it. Like I said, and identify training positives or negatives and things you can work on. Let's talk about documentation, analysis, and investigation. What if someone said they didn't get in that attic, and this video clearly shows them during overhaul using an attic ladder or folding ladder to get in the attic and work? There's documentation of the damage. How much damage? They've already pulled ceiling in one area. They can still see furniture and what the firefighters are doing. And in many cases, you can go back and verify, well, this was a garage fire. We can look at the damage to the garage and the cars themselves. What if we find signs of ignition that the arson investigator can use? What if they see a gas can somewhere it shouldn't be? What if they see charring somewhere it shouldn't be? All of that can be used for investigation purposes or analysis. So that's good stuff. That helps us a lot. One part that many people don't think about that this could be used for is in training new firefighters in operational training. We can identify whether we're doing things correctly as live burn instructors. We can identify whether our firefighters are doing what the actual operational in-service was intended to do. And we can see deficiencies. We can see areas we can improve upon. We can see if conditions were right, conditions were too much. And we can see if we are damaging equipment by doing things that we shouldn't do, like leaving hose lines in there for an excessive amount of time. Yeah, believe it or not, I've seen a smooth bore nozzle fail. It was actually part of that problem when we left one too close to a fire room for an extended period of time. We actually melted the ball inside of the nozzle. Oops. So we can see a lot of things. So these can be good and bad, but overall, if we're doing what we're supposed to and we're behaving, video is a good thing. It can help us tremendously. And this is another one that can help you with your firefighters. I reviewed 9 Maydays last year that all had to do with one issue: firefighters failing to wipe the lens. All of those incidents, they blacked out the names and said the camera whited out or the screen grayed over. Watch this video with the Attack Pro and flashover container. As they flow a little bit of water, they shut down. Many firefighters would be inclined to think that this screen is indicating the fire is out, when in reality, moisture is building up on the lens, causing the image to gray over and look very non-discernible and not a pretty image. My instructor, Joey Baxa, who's going to wipe the lens, watch what happens when he does this. Wow, isn't that amazing? Things got better. Drive down the road in the pouring rain, we need our windshield wiper on. Wiping your face piece and wiping the display is not going to clear up. You need to wipe the lens, wipe your face piece, wipe the display. So 3 wipe methodology. We recommend it in that order, but you can see what actually occurred. There's even a NIOSH report that mentions a grayed out screen that says it was due to uniform temperatures. Well, the first statement was made, the fire captain looked up and saw high heat. The second statement said he looked up and saw uniform temperatures because the tick grayed out. That wasn't uniform temperatures. That was a failure to wipe the lens. Even certain very important groups do not understand this. These are ways that recording can benefit and help you as a firefighter or your department. Now, let's show some real world examples of why would recording be even more important. It's not a seat camera, however, you get the point here. Watch what we're recording. What is that? Spill pattern. Trailers leading to what? There it is. So in the beginning, you actually see the spill pattern of where they poured the accelerant on the carpet, because it was cooler and darker in this image, and it recorded that on that particular camera. That video can be used in a court case, captures data that also might be lost to the investigator due to firefighting efforts such as overhaul. What if we're a little overzealous and we destroy certain evidence just by doing firefighting and overhaul? But during the firefighting overhaul process, the camera captured it. How much more valuable is that to the arson investigator when someone has done something wrong to harm someone or take their property from them? So this is a very valuable feature to be able to record. So with all that being said, I got a question for you. How many of you want more free resources? Here's what we've done for you. This camera is a very valuable tool. However, I have a problem. Many firefighters are buying cameras. They're not doing any training on. I've been traveling for a long time, and I continue to get the same responses. I had a department message me the other day, and they wanted to know why they couldn't just use a very low grade, low resolution situational awareness camera and put that on everybody and call it good. I'm trying to help the fire service. Seek Thermal sponsoring us and helping us do that too. I want to give you more tools and options to do so. This Google Drive link, you cannot access it if you have a free Gmail. You've got to pay Google their 99 bucks. Has presentations galore. Every PowerPoint I have done for Seek Thermal in these webinars is in there. This PowerPoint is in there. You know what else is in there? FLIR, Bullard, MSA, videos, lesson plans, all free. And you're like, why would you do that? Because I'm tired of reading about firefighters getting injured or killed when we could have prevented it. This camera is one of those cameras that can make a difference. And I've got this entire presentation along with the NFPA presentation, with the mixed gain mode presentation, the Attack Pro, the fire attack, situational awareness and decision making, all that stuff's in there. The webinars are on our YouTube channel, all free. If you scan this QR code, it'll send me a link asking for me to approve it. I'll hit approve, and then you have access to it. But you, ladies and gentlemen, have to do the reading. Firefighters are willing to force 500 doors. They're not willing to read 500 pages. In this occupation, you cannot afford to be overly skilled and undereducated. We have to be skilled and educated. A new generation is being born right now because they are having to deal with the most challenging fire environment known to man. And cameras like this are going to allow them to make better decisions faster with less complicated icons, symbols, and make things happen for them, but they've got to understand how it works, what it means before they go into their first live fire. That's your challenge. Make sure you use these resources that Seek Thermal and Insight Training are providing to you, because we're making it free everywhere. We have 400 videos on our YouTube channel, almost 100 videos of Seek Thermal product, organized by playlist, webinar, everything. We have over 100 articles on our website. Thermal.com has videos on there. And then we have a private Facebook group called Tactical Thermal Imaging, where we talk about nothing but thermal imaging. No what you did for workout, no politics, no special stuff, no whatever you ate today. It's all about first responders trying to make a difference with thermal imaging. It is not a hunting group. I will answer that question right away. But all that is for free, for first responders, for firefighters, sponsored by Seek and my company, because we want to get you home to your family. That's our goal, is to make better decisions faster, help the citizen, and get you home. This is our contact information. This is all of our social media platforms. We post 1 to 2 times per day on these social media platforms. My lead instructors all have instructor pages. Some are developing them currently. So we have Twitter, which is now X, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, which I told you about, the dreaded TikTok. I have that as well. We have 2 pages on LinkedIn. Seek Thermal posts stuff on a regular basis for us. That's my contact information, my email, my telephone number, all there for you. We work for you. We want you to benefit. We want you to understand why an investigative mode such as survey mode in the VRS model will help you, and recording will help you as well. Stay tuned for the new release of the next webinar, which will focus solely on survey mode and how that will help you, because I'll give you a little teaser factor or a little factoid. Last year, the American Fire Service ran over 3 million false alarms. The American Fire Service went to 1 million fire calls. 3 million false alarms. That's odors of electrical, something burning, fire alarm activation, 3 million. You're not using TI Basic on those as much as you would survey mode to find that problem and get you back in service faster, so you can serve the citizen and go to other calls that might be more important than looking for an overheated light ballast. Make sure you understand why this is beneficial to you. Use our resources, contact us, and let us know how we can help you. And we thank Seek Thermal for sponsoring it. We thank them for their support and listening to firefighters and making the fire service better by taking your feedback, ladies and gentlemen, and building cameras for you. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. Scott, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Andy. Appreciate the time and the descriptions on the Attack Pro VRS. One of the questions that we had repeatedly today was, will this be, the Attack Pro VRS be in the Attack Pro Plus NFPA version? The answer is no, not at this time. There are no thoughts right now to add to the NFPA Attack Pro Plus. So just wanted to make that very clear.
Okay.
And
another point to add to that, Scott, is the reason an NFPA camera cannot be modified once the certification is done.
Yep.
So firefighters need to understand that once that certification is done, if they make a modification, they have to send the entire camera back for the certification process all over again. So yeah, that's why they can't just simply go back and change something. So
correct. It would start all over and what, take another year possibly, or so. Yeah. And so right now there's no thoughts on adding to the Attack Pro VRS. So Andy, thank you again for your time. Appreciate everybody's time, and keep an eye out for next week's webinar. That'll be coming out this afternoon, and your dealers will be sending that out, those invites out to you guys, as well as Andy promoting it on his site and Seek promoting it on our sites too.
And make sure you check out our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
Make sure you check out our YouTube channel for the survey mode videos that we're posting as well. Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.